All right. I think we're live. What's up? Can you hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Say hi. Say you can hear me. Can you hear me? All right. Good. Audio's good? Good. All right. Somebody sent me a webcam. You can't hear me? I can hear you. Yes. All right. I'm here. All right. So, somebody sent me a camera. They sent me a webcam. They sent me new headphones. And I tried to just set up the webcam, but I just got back to my house, so I couldn't do it in time, so I'm just going to do it. This is like the last time I'm doing it from my phone. I promise. Yes, I'm clean off dope. Yeah, because I've been running around. I was making up the raffle for you guys. Here, let me try to prop my phone up on my computer. Okay. Yes, I know I'm sweating. I know. I was beating off before the live feed. Duh. Okay. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? I had an absolutely... Other headphones sound... I don't know what's up with that. These stories made me relapse. Okay, so listen. We're going to do Q&A, and then I'm going to do a raffle. I have 2 signed books to give away, 3 signed CDs for when they come out, and 5 800 milligram ibuprofen in individual packaging, but they're signed by me. So hopefully, and then 1 really big prize. Big prize for 1 winner. So what I did is, if you've sent me a GoFundMe, I put you in the raffle. I have you all in this hat. I have everybody that's ever sent me a GoFundMe, but I also took 10 random people that have just been commenting and supporting me. I picked anyone that's like, hey, I don't have money, but I would support you if I could. So I got you guys in the raffle. And then I have 4 slots open for the first people that shoot me something right now on the live feed, and we will do the raffle soon. So everybody have a good weekend. You're on federal probation, Nicholas Walton. That sucks. How long's your paper? Okay. I might. Frank Fridays we have to record. My dad is in New York for a week. He's going to be back next week. And I'm going up to Santa Barbara to record the album next week. My friend has a studio there that I can use for free. So when I'm recording the album, I also plan on interviewing my dad for Frank Fridays. I'll probably do like 4 episodes at once, and then I'll release them every Friday. Okay. Sociophobe, what's up, Braysky? What's up, dude? I see people that I've actually been in prison with. What's up, Ryan? How are you, man? Good to see you. Okay, so let's start with the Q&A. Some people have sent me questions. First question is, what's my thoughts on AA and NA? I don't go to AA very often. I mean, I have a lot of friends that do, and if it works for you, that's cool. I mean, I support anything that keeps you off that bullshit, but I personally don't like AA, and I think that the old timers that are in the rooms, the people that are like the big book literalists that actually read the book and apply the principles and the 12 steps and actually use the altruistic aspects of the program. I like people like that, but what I've seen in my experience being at 25 rehabs throughout my life, being in and out of AA since I was 15, the 12 steps have been perverted and incorrectly translated by generations of illiterate people and it's become some sort of de facto therapy. You know, you should never call your sponsor for like relationship advice, and they should never be dictating what kind of medications you should take. Plus, I don't believe in abstinence-based recovery. I think that you're at your best when you're abstinent, but some people need psychotropic medications like antidepressants. And I've seen some AA Nazis that literally like vilify medications and try to dictate what kind of medications you should take, and I don't think that that's cool at all. I also don't like clean dates. I've seen a lot of people. I look twacked out. Shut up! Such a hater. Get out. How do I kick people off of here? I hate people like that. I'm not on any drugs except for Suboxone. That's it. I took 1 8 mg strip today. I'm tapering down right now, and I don't do meth. When I do meth, I turn into a sexual deviant. And okay, so my thoughts on AA. I don't like how the sponsorship, what it's turned into, how it's like a de facto therapy. I don't like the clean dates. I've seen people literally die over that. It's like you have a little slip and you have one beer, or you smoke a joint, and then all of a sudden you threw away 5 or 6 years. And I've seen people just use that as an excuse to go all the way out, and then they end up with a needle in their arm dead. I don't like clean dates. I've been to Smart Recovery, which is like more intellectually based, and you know, I prefer that over AA. But if AA works for you, then I definitely encourage you to keep doing it. I have a lot of friends that swear by it, and it's saving their life. So just for me personally, I don't like AA. Somebody asked me if I bought a book on Audible, do I get a free CD? No, you don't. I appreciate you buying me a book, or buying the book off Audible, but that deal was for the next 20 people that had sent me a GoFundMe, and 24 people, I'm going to send them to all those people, and it was anybody that had done the GoFundMe before that. A lot of people got confused. I got messages. They're like, I gave you GoFundMe 2 weeks ago. Do I get a CD? Yes. Anybody that did up until the cutoff point yesterday. But every week I'm going to have a raffle on my live, and if you send a GoFundMe, I'll put you in the raffle, and we're about to do that. Somebody said, how many broads did you fuck your first week out of prison? I had a girlfriend the first time I got out, so just one. Second time, 2 or 3, and then this last time I'm with my fiance now, so just one. So there's that. 4 slot. Nobody sent me anything on the live feed. There's 4 slots open right now. If you send me a donation right now on the live feed, then I already have, it says like slot number 1, live feed 2, 3, 4. So send something and you can get in the raffle right now. Okay. So nobody has sent anything. Let's get to the raffle. Actually, first I'm going to tell you what happened this weekend, because this weekend was... There you go. Thank you, Mr. Fax. You got slot number 1. Let me write that down. Mr. Fax. I appreciate that. And... Conscience, Evo, and Zach Sims. You can do it now. Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Thank you, Timothy. Thank you, Graham. Yes, I already have you in the raffle. So this weekend, I thank you, Lewis. I appreciate that. Let me put you on there. So this weekend I was supposed to go up to Northern California. I'm not looking at you guys, so if you're sending something right now, I'm going to see it at the end, and I appreciate you, and I'll give you another raffle ticket for next week. Does my wife have Hep C now too? No, she doesn't. They say that it's sexually transmitted, but honestly, it's not. I mean, it's like a fraction of a percent. It's a blood-borne pathogen. It's communicable only through blood. It's not communicable through semen. I've had Hep C since I was 18. I'm 34 now. I've never given one of my partners Hep C, ever. So, you know, and I like don't wear condoms. So, yeah, my current girl does not have Hep C. So anyway, so this weekend I was supposed. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you very much, Hugh. I'm writing you on there. you. No, I can't take Harvoni. They keep denying me. They keep denying me for Harvoni, and I've tried a lot. I tried to do interferon when I was in federal prison, and it literally like made me want to kill myself. It was so bad, but I know Harvoni is much shorter. It's 3 months. It's not however long. What is interferon? 9 months or something. I couldn't deal with interferon. They would shoot me up in the stomach, and I would get suicidal. It was ridiculous. So let me tell you what happened this weekend. I'm not gonna like look in the camera because it distracts me too much. Thank you guys that keep sending donations. I really appreciate it. It tells me who that was. I give you guys all a raffle ticket, and I already put the first people on for tonight's raffle. Other people that sent it after those slots were full, thank you, Mikey. You guys will be on the next week's raffle. I have a really, really good set. The grand prize tonight is awesome. I wish that I could win this, but anyway. So this weekend I was supposed to go to that show up in San Francisco. Thank you, Alvago. And I drove up there. I drive an X3 BMW. Thank you, Seneca. I'm driving up there, right? First of all, there were fires in LA this weekend, so it took us forever to get out of LA. It took us like literally like 6 or 7 hours because everyone was evacuating by Granada Hills, so we got stuck. Show was at 10:30. We left at 1:30. We get up to like 9 p.m. and we're driving on the freeway. Got my son in the car, my girls in the passenger seat. We're driving. I'm going like 80 miles per hour. I'm up on some desolate highway in Kern County by Bakersfield, and I blow out my tire. I don't have AAA. I haven't gotten that since I've been out. So we got stranded on the side of the freeway for like an hour. I've never changed a tire in my life. Wrenching on my ride. Never done that. So I called my manager, and he had to like literally like walk me. He like FaceTime with me, and he was telling me, he's like, okay, you do this, do that. I didn't even know like on a BMW that you have to like do this weird, you have to use this little contraption and then it falls out from the bottom. And so I started trying to jack the car up and it didn't work. And then finally a highway patrol guy came and he's like, hey man, there's a tow truck guy like, 5 minutes from here, I'm going to send him over. So he comes over. He was trying to charge me like $700 just to change the tire. I'm like, dude, just let me use your jack. I'll change it myself. The jack I was using wasn't working. Anyway, he ended up doing it for free for me. I was like, I gave him a tip. And he put a spare on. I'm like, can I get all the way up to San Francisco with this? He's like, yes, absolutely. We'd booked a hotel for like $160. And my fiance, Karina, was like, we should get the $9 insurance in case you have to cancel. I'm like, no, that's a scam. Don't do that. So we paid for a $160 room, non-refundable. We blew out our first tire. So now we're late. It's like 9 o'clock. Show starts at 10:30. I'm going up there to meet Hunter Urbach, who's a subscriber here, and he became an executive producer for the documentary. He's funding some of it. I was going to meet him for the first time, and I was going to support my friend Blase. He's doing his hip-hop show at Be Legit. So now I know I'm missing the show. I'm furious. My girl and I are fighting because we're both all stressed out, and the tow truck guy's like, yeah, you can make it from Bakersfield to San Francisco on this little donut. I'm like, dude, I don't know about that. It's like, really, it's a lot smaller. It's like disproportionate compared to the other wheels. And so I'm driving and I get up to this town called Gilroy, out in the middle of butt-fuck nowhere. It's like it's just this desolate agricultural. Last three of my Fed number is 112 from Los Angeles. Los Angeles is 112. And your Fed number never changes. You can go in and out of federal prison, new case, it'll always be the same number. So we're driving up in Gilroy, California. We're actually in Delano, which is like state prison town. And all of a sudden, the second tire blows out, right? Now it's like midnight. And it is the garlic capital. Did I say onion capital? I've been saying that. So anyway, no, rock band story's not true. I don't even know how to play guitar. It was a metaphor for wasting my writing talent. I just thought if I made Damien a writer, it would be too corny. So, second tire blows out. 2 highway patrol come and they're like, hey, we need to get your car off the highway. We can get a tow truck guy to come. I'm like, well, how much is that going to cost? And he's like, well, we're in the middle of nowhere and it's like midnight. It's going to be $800. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm paying $800 to have my car towed. And then I would have had to buy another tire. It would have cost over $1,000 and I was losing the $160 for the hotel. So he ends up taking me to a Motel 6. And the next day, Luckily, I found some guy at the hotel that like had a AAA membership, and he's like, just give me $80 cash, and I'll have the tow truck guy bring you to a used tire shop. I get to the used tire shop. They're like, we have to replace all 4 of your tires on my X3 Beamer, 2005 SUV. I guess like my tires were all cracked. They said from sun damage, and so I had to pay like I think it was 400 altogether for 4 tires, for 4 used tires. That took up the whole day. So needless to say, I didn't get to meet Hunter. I was really excited to go meet him. I didn't get to go see my manager. I was going to go see Christina Sunshine Jung, daughter of Boston George. She's my good friend. She was meeting me at the hip hop show. I love Christina. She's like seriously like a surrogate aunt to my son. And so we didn't get to see her, and we were really bummed out. And so I missed the show. Probably spent at least $700 on this trip, all down the drain. I had to get 4 used tires, non-refundable, $106 room, and I was pretty pissed, man. And then to top it all off, I hadn't taken a shit for like a week. This last week, I just haven't been shitting. I don't know why. And so we're like driving, and then I don't know if you guys ever, a lot of dope fiends on here, and Suboxone never makes me constipated. Like methadone and heroin make me like not shit for days, and then you have the little heroin baby. And this girl, like the stripper girl one time, taught me this trick about when you're constipated on heroin, what you can do. Thank you, Mr. Fax. What you can do if you're having a little heroin baby, like 10-day shit, you pinch the shit as it's coming out of your butthole, and then it doesn't hurt as bad. And that little trick has like saved my life. I used to scream in agony because it would be so painful, the little heroin baby. But anyway, I'm not on heroin, I'm not on methadone, I'm on Suboxone. I never get constipated, but I was constipated. And then all of a sudden we're on this like lonely highway, and it hits me all at once. And I'm like, honey, I have to shit. And she's like, well, what are we gonna do? And we find this little like hole in the wall, like I don't even, like a bar and grill kind of place. I don't even know where this is, in the middle of nowhere up in Northern California. And so I go in the bathroom and I sit on the toilet, and I just like let out the most, I was like moaning. I was like letting out sexual moans of agony. I was like, ah! And I think somebody heard me from the bar. And like, I'm just shitting there. And it's one of those like ghetto places where like, I know you guys know this, where you can't lock the door. It's like, has that little ghetto pin that you put in, but it doesn't work. So I'm like just sitting there with my pants around my ankles, and I'm going for it, and I'm like, and I'm moaning quasi-sexually. And then at the worst moment, I realized that there's no toilet paper here. I look over, and like the little toilet paper dispenser is just out, and it was like one of those shits that was like really mushy and like really messy shit, like requires attention, definitely requires toilet paper. So this is where I apply prison skills to my normal daily life in the free world. I remember that I would bird bath in prison at Wasco State Prison, which is a reception center. They like outlawed showering except for like 2 times a day or 2 times a week, because they were like in some sort of drought, which doesn't seem legal to me. But we'd have to bird bath like in secrecy, like go like hide. If like the CO sees you, you get like written up for it. So I knew how to bird bath, and I had this like mushy shit caked in my butthole. It was like just all, so gross. So I like go and I step up, like I have to get leverage so that I can like stick my ass in the sink. I like get up and bend over. So I'm like bending over, and I'm just kind of like, softly scrubbing this with what little soap they had. And this guy comes in, this super creepy paisa that has like he's missing all his teeth except for one gold tooth. And he just kind of looks at me, and I'm bent over and I'm washing my ass. And he looks at me, and you know how when there's somebody that doesn't speak like English isn't their first language, whether it be Asian, Hispanic, sometimes they just smile a lot just to compensate for not understanding. 'Cause I'm trying to explain to this guy that I'm washing my butthole because there's no toilet paper, and he's just smiling at me because I think he doesn't understand. There's like some lost in translation thing. And so I'm sitting there, and I don't stop. I mean, I'm already in the middle of doing it, so I just keep doing it. and he's just smiling at me with this one gold tooth, and I just took off after that, and I like got back in my car. I'm like, we gotta go. Karina's like, what the fuck? What's up? And she's like, thought I robbed this place or something. It was like that kind of urgency in my voice. I'm like, I don't know, this like one tooth golden paisa is like, I don't know. I was washing my butt. I like explained it, and she's just like, Jesus, Ryan, it's never a dull moment. So anyway, we made a little pit stop in Santa Barbara, and to my delight, I got a package of all the equipment that a subscriber sent. So cool. Headphones, webcam, camera, microphones, chargers, everything I need to you know, have production value. So we're gonna get that all set up this week, and yeah, let's get to the raffle. Do you guys want to do the raffle? Tell me you want to do the raffle. My friend, you are so fucking high, you don't stop talking. I don't stop talking regardless of if I'm on drugs or not. I'm so, like, why would I lie about getting high? I don't even care. I tell you I have herpes. I tell you my chronic masturbatory confessions. If I'm getting loaded, I'm going to just tell you. I don't care what you think. I'm not getting high. I'm like on Suboxone. Whoever thinks that, you're a fucking idiot. Straight up. Somebody today was like, why are you asking people to send money when you say that you smoke weed? You spend money on weed, so obviously you can pay for it. It's like, dude, are you serious? I have not. Thank you, Recluse. Thank you very much. Like, I haven't paid for weed in 20 years. Are you kidding me? It's like, everyone just gives weed away. I never pay for weed. Who pays for weed? It's like everywhere and it's free. I wish that I liked weed more because it's like the most accessible drug. Thank you, Brenda. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah, I did send a book to Lompoc. Thank you. I don't know how you know that, but I did. It's going out tomorrow. We're sending out a bunch of free books to people in prison. And I'm kicking methadone in Santa Barbara right now. I'm so sorry. Upgrade to Pornhub Premium, bro. Okay, so let's get to the raffle. Let's go to the raffle. You guys ready? Raffle, raffle, raffle. Oh, fake name on you. Okay, you're the one that sent me the guy's address at Lompoc. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, you guys ready? This is how it works. The names are in this hat, okay? Names are in the hat, and then I have this other hat that has the prizes in it. So there's 2 signed books, 3 signed CDs that aren't out yet, but as soon as they come out, you'll get them. Just like everybody that gave me the GoFundMe initially, and the 24 that did after that. You guys all have them coming. Recording it next weekend. Hopefully it'll be out in a couple weeks. Okay, so here we go. Let's do the first. So I'm going to pick a name, and then I'm going to pick a prize. It's going to be random. Let's see what happens. All right. First name. First name. Okay. Okay, so it says the third person that gave me a donation on the live feed. Let's see who that is. That is Zach Sims. Zach Sims, you are a winner of something. Let's see what you won. All right, Zach. Uncle Lester loves my stories, bro. Okay, let's see what Nick Sims wins. Okay, so now we are going to the prize hat. Let's see what's up, Zach. Hopefully you get. You're not going to get the big prize. The big prize is the very last thing that's not even in here. All right, Zach. You ready? You ready? You won a signed copy of my book, Wasting Talent. So I will leave my email in the comments. Zach, you have a signed copy of my book coming for free. There you go. Let me write this down so I don't forget. Zach Sims, free Wasting Talent. There you go, bro. Free copy of my book. When I first started in my career, I used to give away free copies of my book. Like, I'd go to readings and like, bookstores get so mad because you'd have to do a 60-40 split. You keep 60% of the proceeds and you give them 40%. And people would always come up to me and be like, man, I don't have a lot of money. And so I just give free signed copies away to anybody. If somebody showed up at my reading, I was so flattered, I just gave free copies away. These bookstores would like start banning me for doing that. And I remember like pretty soon after I started giving them away, I'd see that there were signed copies of Wasting Talent on eBay, and they were like less than what the value was on Amazon or at a bookstore. And it said that there was writing in that it was not like a clean copy because it was written on, because the author signed it. So I was so not known at that time that me signing the book devalued it on eBay. And I remember thinking that was pretty funny. So Zach, you got that coming. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate you. I'm going to put you on the, all you guys that send anything right now will be in the next raffle. Okay, you guys ready? We're going to do the second person. Let's do this. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay. Second winner is Nick Moore. Nick Moore, are you on the live feed? Nick Moore, show yourself. Dick shot. No? Okay, well, let's see what you won. And somebody, if you know who that is, let him know that he's going to win something. Let's see what he wins. All right. Nick Moore, you get 8. Thank you, Sean. You get an 800 milligrams ibuprofen, but it's signed by me. It's in one of those little individual packets. I'll sign it with a Sharpie. So, Nick Moore. Nick Moore ibuprofen. All right. You guys ready for the next one? Let's do the next one. All right. Next one. Brandon Pierce, you are not Nick Moore. Shut the fuck up. All right. All right. Let's see who this is. This is Hunter Urbach. Put you in there 3 times, Hunter, because you've been one of my biggest supporters. And let's see what Hunter is going to win. I got you a really, really dope birthday present, and I'm bummed that I couldn't give it to you in person, but I will send it to you. You are going to trip out when you see who I got to sign something for you. One of your favorite actors did something for you. You're going to be super stoked. So let's see what you won, Hunter. All right. You won a free CD signed by me, Hunter. So Hunter gets a free CD. Thank you, Jared Green. I appreciate you. CD. Okay. You guys ready? You guys ready for... And remember, if you didn't donate to me in the GoFundMe, I still picked names, just people that commented that said that they would help me, but they didn't have money. I don't pick favoritism for people that, you know, it's like, I appreciate every single one of you. So I added a bunch of people that haven't contributed. So... financially. You contribute in other ways, and I appreciate you. Okay. I know. I saw that. I see it all at the end, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate those donations. Those just came in. All right. Let's see who the next person is. Let's see. It is... oh my god, I cannot read this. Serrato Lantasca. Who is Serrato Lantasca? Are you here? Gerardo Lantasca? I don't know. I cannot read my handwriting. But, whoever it is, you won something. Let's see what you won. Alright. Gerardo Lantasca, you won an 800 milligram ibuprofen. but it is signed. So, sorry. Maybe that'll be worth something someday. Lon Taz, do not be selling my signed ibuprofens on eBay. IB. Okay. We're almost done, guys. With the raffle. Anyway. Okay. Next name. Let's see. Ryan Pubic Hair? That's Christmas raffle. Okay. Let's see. This is Stephen Pear. Stephen Pear, are you watching? Stephen Pear, you just won something. Let's see what you won. Stephen Pear. Congratulations, Stephen Pear. Let's see what you won. Recluse, you're everybody. Stephen Pear. Okay. Stephen Pear won a CD. You're already getting a CD, Stephen Pear, so maybe I'll just send you a t-shirt or something. CD. Okay. Okay. Good job, Stephen Pear. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got. I am back home right now. And I'm sweating because I beat off right before the live feed out of nervousness. Okay. 818. Oh, shit. San Fernando Valley. All right. Let's see. All right. Next winner is Metal Face. Metal Face, you won something. Let's see what you won. This game show sucks. Tell stories. You suck. So Metal Face, you won a signed copy of Wasting Talent. So Metal Face. Metal Face. Wasting Talent. We're almost done, and then I'll do a fucking story. Chill out. God. Yeah, I know. I saw your message, JT. We will do. I don't know how to do that. What do I do? Do I just click on your name and like? How does that work? So Metal Face, you got Wasting Talent. All right, we just got a few more. Let's see. The next winner is Susan Fenn. Susan Fenn, you won something. Let's see. You won an 800 milligram signed ibuprofen. Susan Fenn. Yeah, ibuprofen. All right, we're almost done, guys. Chill out. We got four more things to win. 1, 2, 3, and then the big prize. There's one big prize coming. I'm telling you, it's big. All right. Dude, of course the ibuprofens are hooped. Hector, what if I get raided right now? Running illegal fucking raffles. Of course they're up my ass right now. All right, next winner. Peter Sprawl. Peter Sprawl, you won a CD. Peter Sprawl won a CD. All right. Congratulations, Peter Sprawl. You are the man. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Electro Morales. Electro Morales, you won another 800 milligram ibuprofen. So Electro Morales, IB. And, okay. One more. Let's see. No, two more. There's one more in the hat, and then the grand prize. Okay. Next person is Tim Pearson, who was he was my 6th grade teacher. Good ass dude, man. We've become friends since I've been older. He did an interview for my documentary, and you won an ibuprofen. You're living in Germany, but I got you. Okay, you guys ready for the grand prize? Thank you, Rich. Appreciate you, man. You guys ready for the grand prize? Who's ready for the grand prize? Grand prize. Say yes, say yes, 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 yes. Here we go. All right. The grand prize. Drum roll, please. Da, 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 da. Drum roll, please. Okay, this person right here wins the grand prize. Yes, you can definitely donate weed. All right. Grand prize goes to dun da da the second live donor. Who was that? Where is my list of live donors tonight? Oh, who is the second one? Who? Okay, here we are. Conchets? Conchets? Who's Conchets? Somebody say that they're Conchets. Who's that? Who is that? Conchets. I need to know who that is. I cannot read my handwriting. Conchets. Conchets! EVO! You won the grand prize, Conchets. You won. I'm going to order this for you. Okay? I'm getting you it's called a Thrust Pro Mini Andy Super Ribbed Pocket Butthole. $20 value that is going to Conchents. What's your real name, Conchents, so that I know? I'm getting you an actual pocket butthole. I need you to fuck it. Who you need to Conchents. Tell me what your real name is so that I know later that someone's not trying to No, it's brand new. I've never used it. I swear. If it stinks, Chris Miranda. All right, man. I'm gonna send you a pocket butthole. You weirdo. That really is the prize. Okay, thank you. So that's it for the raffle portion of the program. Thank you guys for sticking through that. I know that it took a while, but so there's 2 copies of the book signed, 3 CDs, 5 signed ibuprofen, and 1 pocket butthole. Hey, JT, where are you? Where are you, JT? Come back. Come back. I want to make you the moderator. Where are you, JT? Come back. Where are you? Hey, where are you? How do I donate weed? Well, I can't say to send it in the mail, but okay, JT, how do I make you the moderator? How do I do that? Coked the fuck up, dude. You guys are silly. How do I make somebody a moderator? How do I do it? Because I want to tell a story. That's what you guys are here for. I'm going to tell a little story. Right click on what? Click his name. Okay, IT. Do it again. JT. Oh. Okay, JT, you're on it. Start booting off anyone that says that I'm high. Because you guys are fucking like I said, I tell you about herpes outbreaks. I tell you about jerking off. I haven't told you some worse secrets yet, but they're coming. So, I mean, if I'm getting loaded, I'm going to tell you. What? I don't give a fuck. I mean, come on. At this point in the game, I have no shame. So, all right. All right, JT is smashing fools off the yard. Thank you, Grant. Okay. So what do you guys want to hear a story about? What do you guys want to hear a story about? I'm waiting. A Shaky Jake story. Tomorrow a story about how high I am. Kick him off! Get him! And Chance, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate the donation. Heroin story, military rehab, treatment, juvenile. Yeah, that's right. If you guys keep saying I'm high, you get JT's gonna put you on a timeout. First time getting high. What about? I'm thinking. Do a Fed story. Talk about hookers. Victorville, Kentucky 2CB. Mexican store owner. I mean, there's so much to choose from. First overdose. It's really hard for me to pick a story. Very hard. I'm thinking about it. Designer drugs and sass. No, I didn't make it to SF. I talked about that in the beginning of the feed. Your night with Baby Tiger, talking about gay sex. I've never had gay sex. If I had gay sex before, I would never have gone to prison because I would just be the gayest junkie slut ever, and I wouldn't have to commit crimes. So I don't do stuff like that. Diana Ortiz. I heard that Diana Ortiz got killed in the halfway house in El Monte. I don't know if that's true, but I heard about it. And a fight between me and Jenny. $20 in crystal. $20 crystal. The Mexican that caught the case and then got busted again for the murder thing. I guess his name was George Torres, and he didn't own John's. He owned Uno Mino Market or some shit like that. And I didn't know that. I mean, you got to remember, like, a lot of times I'll say stuff in stories, but I'm talking about 10 years ago. So maybe I'll forget certain details, and I'll think that certain stuff had happened, but I just kind of forget, because it's been so. I agree. Rats deserve to die. Numero Uno Market. So somebody had looked him up. Like, I was talking about that guy, George Torres. That's a real person. Somebody looked him up, and I don't know what happened to him, but I read an article about when I was talking about when he beat his case, and they let him. How do I scam people, Adam? Tell me. Victimville. How do I scam people? I don't know what happened to that guy. I know that he had gotten out. You can Google it. Say George Torres, owner of Uno Marquito. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it, man. I appreciate the donations, guys. It means a lot. Big Meech story. I mean, Big Meech was at Lompoc when I was there in 2016. I think it might have been. Thank you, Wyatt. Appreciate you. Appreciate that, dog. Big Meech, he was, when I was in Lompoc in 2000, it was 17, not 6. Well, I went in 16, but it was in just like late December, or no, it was 17. So it was 2017, I was in Lompoc. Big Meech was like maybe 2 doors away from me. And, it's a triple tier prison at Lompoc. This is like, they have a camp there, they have a low, and then they have the USP, but it's also, thank you, Jester. Thank you very much. I don't drink anymore, but, anyhow. TJ and Alice, I don't know what happened to TJ, man. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I was at Lompoc, and I remember I didn't even know who Big Meech was. I had no idea who he was at the time. I remember a couple people said that he was kind of like famous and that they made shows about him. I've met a lot of famous people throughout the years in prison. I met Heidi Fleiss. I met, what's that guy? Gucci Mane. Um, I've met, Freeway Ricky Ross, not in prison, but people like that outside of prison. Now that I'm like pushing prison reform, I meet people like that pretty frequently. Really good friends with Mirtha and Christina Jung. I don't talk to George, but I talk to them frequently. They're like two of my best friends. Um, and my manager used to rep Boston George, so I'm big in the bloke camp thing. Big Meech though, that like I remember the second or third day that I was at Lompoc, I was complaining and asking people if they had any yard dogs, which is like used shoes, because I was only on a 3-month little violation for a non-conviction DUI. And, your own race is supposed to take care of you. I have pictures of me with Freeway on my Instagram. Um, and, yeah, I've met Gucci. Um, and like my own race didn't really volunteer for me to give me shoes, and Big Meech is like, yo, I got some Nike Cortezes, bro, what's up? I was like, yeah, how much do you want for them? He's like, no, it's on the cuff, here you go. He gave it to me, and when they would do count sometimes in the morning, you wouldn't have to go in your cell. Sometimes they would just have you stand outside your cell, and he was like 2 cells away from me, and him and I were talking all the time. I mean, I was telling him that I had a book out. I hadn't sold the film rights yet, but I told him that I was like hustling, and he was super cool to me. He's a nice guy. Freeway Ricky Ross. I was at his house like maybe a month ago, and he was telling me that he's in contact with Big Meech's wife. So I think I'm gonna get Big Meech on the show, or his wife on the show, or maybe we could even get him to call in from prison, and I can record it if you guys are big Meech fans. I mean, I don't know much about him, but I saw a documentary. And my camera, you can't see me? Can you see me now? You see me now? Gucci sucks. He was cool. I know what I'll tell you. I'm gonna tell you about when I met my kid's mom and how the documentary came to be, and then how I had a breakdown. You guys want to hear that? That's what we're doing. I don't care. I'm not Gucci story. There's nothing really to tell. I just met the guy. That's it. I met him. He was going to Terre Haute, Indiana. I met him at a layover over there. What's interesting about this, there is something interesting about when I met Gucci Mane, right? In Gucci Mane, this is in 2000, I think 12 or 13. I don't know. It was before I went to Oxford, and he had just gone, but he was in the feds, and he was going to Terre Haute because I met him when I was in the hole there. And I remember people saying, hey, that's Gucci Mane. He wasn't that famous yet. I mean, he was whatever, not like he is now. And nah, politics didn't say anything about me taking shoes from Meech. It's not like that, No eye contact with blacks after 3, though. But, so when I went to Terre Haute, sometimes you have to do a layover when you're in the Fed. So I went on Con Air. And they fly it. Con Air is horrible. You're with people from all over the country. You're in this like plain white plane. Well, that's hard to say. And you're on the plane all day, and then they drop you off in Oklahoma City in this big transit center. And it's weird. It's just this like purgatory, like where everybody from all over the country is just kind of doing a layover at this big unit. You can stay there for like months. Luckily, I was only there for a week. There's really nothing to do there. They give you like these little single shots of coffee, and people play prison with it, or people play prison with it. Jesus Christ. People play poker with the coffee. It's like the only commodity in there. You can't even buy commissary in this little transit. It sucks. They have the email system and they have the phone, but that's about it. Once in a while, people, are hooping drugs so you can get high. I did heroin when I was there. And then they transferred me to MCC Chicago, which is in downtown Chicago. And then they transferred me to Terre Haute, which is in Indiana. And Terre Haute is a USP, and it's also an FCI. And I had to take a shit really bad, like on the bus, And I kept telling the COs that, yeah, you can smoke black in prison. People get the foil from the kitchen and then they smoke it. I mean, or they use a coil to smoke it. Like a little coil gets like red hot and you can put the heroin on it and you you can get a little pen, and I don't smoke it though, I slam it. But yeah, you can slam and smoke heroin in prison. But I've been on this bus ride for like 6 hours, going from MCC Chicago to Terre Haute, Indiana. We were supposed to do a 1 night layover there. That's it. The next morning they were going to pick us up and they were going to take us out to Federal Correctional Institute, Oxford in Wisconsin. And what happened is, when I got off the bus, I had to take a shit, and I've been telling the CO like the entire time. I'm like, look, man, I have to take a shit. Like, we've been on a bus for 6 hours, and he's like, you can do it when we get to the prison. So we finally get to Terre Haute. It's nighttime now, and you know, these are like redneck Indiana COs, right? And they're just kind of like, you know, they're all dipping and spitting in a fucking cup. You know, and like giving us the laydown for what this prison's at. Oh, you're gonna be here for 1 night, and well, no, they didn't talk about that. So, thank you, Tom. I've explained how I slammed a prison. You do it with a binky. So I tell this CO when I get off the bus, I say, hey man, I have to take a shit. I've been telling the CO on the bus that all day. It's been 6 hours and I've been holding it. And as soon as I say that, all the other inmates that I'm with that are transferring with me start laughing. CO's spitting. You're just like, oh, you think that's funny, boy? You're some California faggot, right? And I'm like, dude, it's like veins were popping out of his forehead. He's like, oh, you think that's funny? Yeah. I'm like, dude, I just have to take a shit, man. Like, it's been 6 hours. He's like, you're going to the hole. And I'm like, what? So at this particular place, the hole is death row. They have a death row in federal prison, and it's located at Terre Haute, at the USP there. So they put me on death row just because I was going to the hole, and that's where you go. And it was so creepy. That's where Timothy McVeigh, the Oklahoma City bomber, was housed, right? And so there were all these messages written in pencil all over the wall, these like radical, anti-authoritarian, like Christian extremist things that he had written in pencil, and it was signed T. McVeigh. And obviously, throughout the years, people had preserved it. So he was actually in the cell that I was like housed in at that time, and he had all these like weird, like writings all over the wall. And I was by myself. I didn't have a cellie. And I remember two things about that. So I remember it would get dark, and for some reason in that hole, they wouldn't turn the lights on. So at night, it would just get pitch dark in your cell, and you couldn't read or anything, and you'd be in the dark. So I'd read like all these weird Timothy McVeigh like manifesto writings all day, and then I would just be like just creeped out at night. And the only thing you could see was like the orange glare of like the stadium lights illuminating the cell from the outside. You could see the coil wire, and you could see just this outstretch of Indiana landscape. And I remember thinking a lot that I knew that Axl Rose had grown up in Indiana, so I kept thinking about Guns N' Roses lyrics for some reason, and I thought that I would hear stuff at night. I thought the ghost of Timothy McVeigh was there, and he was going to like blow me up or something. It was very scary. So, really? You guys can only see my forehead? Can you see me now? Yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't the Shawshank hole, but it was in the dark, you know? I mean, all you could see was the light outside. And so, like, the next day, one of the orderlies comes. So in the state prison, the guys that like walk around and like help and do stuff, but they're inmates, are called porters. That's what it's called in the state. In the feds, it's called orderlies. It's like, usually if you're an orderly in the feds, you're no good. You checked in, you rolled it up, you owed a debt, and you told the cops you had to go, and then you become an orderly. The orderlies generally are considered bad. Just saying. So the orderly comes and he's talking to me, and he's like, hey man, do you need a book? I'm like, yeah, for sure. What do you have? You know, standard like John Grisham, James Patterson, whatever. That stuff's cool when you're in the hole and you're by yourself. You know, you can only beat off so much. Even I get sick of beating off in the hole by myself. And And so this guy's talking to me, and he's telling me that Gucci Mane is housed in this hole while I'm there. And I'm like, who the fuck is Gucci Mane? And he's like, oh, bro, the guy that's talking to me is like, I don't know, I think he was like a Latin king or something. He had like a gold grill. You know, he was a Midwest dude, gold grill. And he was telling me that he was a rapper. He's like, he's a pretty well-known rapper. I'm like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, yeah, he's pretty famous. So I was like, okay. And he's like, he's right over there. Can you see him? And I could see, like, it was diagonal where he was at. And I could yell outside of my door to Gucci. And I was like, hey, man, what's up, Gucci? And he's like, hey, what's good? And that's it. I mean, I didn't know what to say. It's like, not like I'm a fan. I didn't even know who he was. We had like hey, you need anything? He's like, nah, I'm good, brah. All right. I met him. I didn't get to shake his hand or anything. That was pretty it. We had like a very minimal conversation, but I can say that I met him in prison. And so yeah. All right. So let me tell you a story. Let's go. White boy wasted. Going on timeout, Paul D. I'm just kidding. Don't do that too. So the documentary is coming out May of 2020. So it's coming out next spring. We're in post-production right now. We're doing the music right now for it, and we're getting a rough cut. We'll have the rough cut done by December 22nd, and that's when Jim Oles, the screenwriter of Fight Club, is going to come in. He's going to write the narration for Nick Stahl, who's one of my best friends, actor Nick Stahl. Bully, Terminator 3, Sin City. He was in Disturbing Behavior. Love Nick. Dude's a brother to me. Seriously, it's like one of my best friends. And he's going to do the voiceover narration. So right now we're just getting all the refined footage. We're putting it in a timeline, putting it all together. We're getting the musical score. I have a bunch of musicians that are doing original music for me, big name musicians. And then Jim Oles is going to write it. The voiceover narration, Nick Stahl's going to do it. We should have the rough cut done by December 22nd. And then we submit it to cons, even though we already kind of have a shoe-in with them because of some of the producers that produce big stuff. And it will come out probably May 10th of next year at Cannes International Film Festival in France. What we're going for is a limited theatrical release. And I want to get it in like 1,000 theaters. I think that it has enough big names attached to it. We have interviews with a lot of like A-list celebrities. We have the archival footage we have is insane. If you've seen any of those videos of me when I'm younger, the Savage Life, stabbing the skinhead, all that kind of stuff, we literally, the entire film, like the things that I talk about, we have footage and we have so many photographs, so many good interviews. We have a lot of really good stuff. Plus, we're going to get original music by top musicians. It's going to be written by the screenwriter of Fight Club, narrated by Nick Stahl. And the director's really good, too. He's been filming me since I was 20. So, my battery's on 10. So, I want to tell a story now. The Kilo and the Gun's a true story. 100% true. 100%. Mailing list, I'm going to work on this week. Okay. Let me tell a quick story, and that's it. Okay. So, when I got out of prison in 2013, I'm not looking at the comments. If you guys keep giving donations, I'm appreciative. I'll see it at the end. I'll put you on the raffle for next week. This is the story. So, in 2013, Facebook came out when I was in prison. From 2009 to 2013, Facebook kind of gained popularity. MySpace was the big thing before that. And like I'd be in prison and I'd like tell my homeboys, I'd be like, hey, can you guys like maintain my MySpace page? And they're like, dude, nobody uses MySpace anymore. Facebook's the big thing. Now, when I'd gone to prison, the only people that had Facebook were people with university email addresses. So like I didn't have one because I wasn't at a university. So like the only people that were on Facebook were like university people. But when I went to prison, they started letting anybody be on Facebook. So my friends started running my Facebook account, and I gave them specific, thank you very much, Roger. I gave them specific instructions. I need you to add all the hottest girls that you can find, so that when I get out, you guys have assembled like this library of hot women. They're like, cool. I had 3 friends running my Facebook at the time, so they did. And when I got out, I was in top shape. I looked the best I've ever looked in my life. Like I was in perfect shape. I'd been sober a year when I got out, and it was the best I'd ever looked. And I had confidence. I just written the book. It was getting published, and I'll post a picture of what I look like. That'll be the thumbnail for this after this uploads, of what I looked like during that time. I just looked totally different. I looked really healthy. And and that worked. The girls on my Facebook, like, throughout the years, I hooked up with a bunch of girls that my friends pretty much fished in while I was in prison, and I got to a point where just fucking random girls made me feel empty and didn't make me feel any better. So I'm not about that anymore. Like, I'm way more happy that now that I'm with my fiance, we love each other, it's meaningful. I got all that other shit out of my system. But in 2013, I've been in prison for almost 5 years. I was running amok, and I was making up for my 20s, like, just pretty much being taken from me. So one of the girls that they had added was Karina. And the girl I'm with now, that I just had a baby with, I have an 18-month-old son with her, I thought she was beautiful. So I hit her up on Messenger, and like I always use the same line, "Hey, Karina, this is Ryan. I know," and I'd like look who our mutual friends are. "I know you from Tom." And like sometimes girls would be like, "No, you don't," and they'd just like block me. Sometimes girls would play along with me. Sometimes people would think that it's what I'm saying is true. Whatever the case, I tried that on her. We had a little conversation. I started getting flirtatious, and she's like, I have a boyfriend. Like, I'm not trying to talk to you like that." I'm like, okay. That was in 2013. I got engaged to a girl shortly after that, or I met a girl and we ended up getting engaged. I was with her for 2 years. We broke up. I got another girlfriend. Me and her broke up. And then I got married to a girl that sent me a fan letter for wasting talent. And I was married for a year. So this girl sent me a fan letter on Facebook, said it was her favorite book. I ended up marrying her. After she divorced me, I caught the pimping and pandering case. And like 2 days after I caught that case, I get a message on Facebook Messenger from Karina. And she's like, "Hey, Ryan, I've been admiring you from afar for a long time. You're always dating bimbos. Why don't you take me out on a date? I would really appreciate that." And I'm like, "Yeah, that'd be cool." I said, "You might want to call me, though, before we go out on a date." She's like, "Okay." So she ends up, I call her. She gives me her phone number, and I say, "I'd love to take you out on a date. The only problem I'm having is I just got arrested. I'm already on federal probation. Now I'm out on bail for a new case. I'm probably going to prison." And I was at that point in my life where, like, I definitely got a conscience. Like, I didn't want to lead girls on where we couldn't have, like, a solid relationship. So I wanted to just be honest with her and be like, "Hey, this is what it is." I didn't tell her I had herpes, though. I'm kind of a piece of shit for that. But, I told her that I just caught a case. And she's like, "Well, what kind of case did you catch? Like another drug thing?" And I'm like, "No, they got me for pimping and pandering." And she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I wrong place, wrong time, blah, blah, blah." Gave her the whole rundown about it. And she's like, "Well, she's like, I'm not looking for anything serious, so why don't we just go on a date, see what happens?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." So when I went to prison, that was, this is 2017, so I just paroled from Lompoc. That's when I met Big Meech. And when I was in prison, my ex-wife, she's the one that's fighting with me on the that video that I have of me fighting with my ex-wife. This is my ex-wife that I'm talking about. She had left me while I was in prison. She took the car. I had an apartment in North Hollywood. She stopped paying the fucking, she stopped paying her rent. So I lost my apartment. I lost all my clothing. I lost my car, everything. And she took off. Sent me a Dear John letter while I was in the hole. Like, hey, I know your life sucks and you're in the hole, but I'm leaving you. I'm over it. You're the worst drug addict, the worst alcoholic I've ever met. You cheat on me all the time. I'm good. I'm like, oh my God, all right. And so she had left me. So I'm essentially resourceless when I get out of prison. I'm living with my parents. I don't have a car, but I'm working out a lot. And I'm going to my best friend's house. We're on the paleo diet, only eating organic food. We're lifting weights. You know, I'm living a healthy lifestyle. And up until I caught the pimping case, I was sober. After I caught the pimping case, I relapsed on alcohol. And I haven't gotten to my alcohol part of my story, but I was a very bad alcoholic. 2/5 a day kind of guy. I'd get the shakes, like, I'd wake up shaking, and I'd, like, put the bottle, and it would kind of dribble down my face a little bit. And I'd get DTs if I didn't drink. I was physically dependent. And then I'd gotten off of it when I did that 3-month violation. I had to kick alcohol in the feds. Again, I was chained to a bed at White Memorial Hospital while 2 armed U.S. Marshals were watching me. And, you know, so I'd gotten off alcohol in that violation, and then I get out, and I'd lost everything. And when I caught the pimping case, I relapsed on alcohol again. So I relapsed, and my girl I'm with now is an alcoholic too, and she had asked me on the phone. She said, "Hey, are you sober, or are you drinking?" And I'm like, yeah, I'm sober. Now, I wasn't sober. Like, literally, as she's asking me this, I'm, like, hitting a fifth of Jack, right? I'm like, no, yeah, I'm totally sober. 100% sober. I really was attracted to her. I really didn't want to, like, I was, like, in my, like, dope fiend logic, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm getting strung out on alcohol now, but if I really, like, if something happens with her, I'll clean up for her. You know, stupid junkie logic, right? So, she told me that she worked at a salon in Santa Barbara, like probably like it's probably the most fancy salon in Santa Barbara. And I was supposed to go work out with my friend Jeff that night, and I didn't have a car, so I had my mom drop me off at Karina's salon. And I just showed up. I'd never met her in person, and I'm like wearing a wife beater, and I'm wearing this big red backpack. She says to this day that she was so embarrassed when I came in because I looked like some homeless guy, even though I was like buff and tan. It would look ridiculous if I was naked, all buff and tan with just a little ass wiener. It would look so absurd. But anyway, so I show up at her place. She's embarrassed, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I was just in the area, and I figured I'd stop by. I want to take you out on dinner like we talked about." And she's like, "Okay." Now, the problem was I had no money on me. I do this often. I go to places with no money, like the time that I schemed $3,000 worth of drugs from that guy, Damon. Or, you know, I go on dates pretty frequently without any money. So she's like, "Okay, well, I have to close the salon. It's going to be like an hour." I was like, "Okay, that's cool. I'll wait." So I go outside, I smoke cigarettes, I come back, and she looks beautiful. She looked absolutely stunning that night. She was in this little short black skirt. And so we're walking, and she's like, "Hey, on the phone, you said that you're sober. Did you really mean that? Because I like to have a glass of wine with dinner." I'm like, "Oh my God, thank God, me too. Only a glass of wine, that's it." Totally, like, one glass of wine type of dude. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, me too." So we go to this place. She buys steak bites. I tell her I don't have money. She's like, "That's cool." I was like, "Look, I'll pay you back next week." She's like, "Okay, it's cool, whatever." She's like, "I make cool money at the salon." So we go to this restaurant, and they're giving us steak bites, and they're giving us drinks. And I order a Jack and Coke double because that's my drink. And I probably have like 4 or 5 of these. And she's just letting me buy them. She's cool. We get nice and buzzed. Now, I'd already been drinking Jack Daniels that day. I'm already drunk. And I had like 4 or 5 doubles. So now I'm really drunk. And so we leave to go to another restaurant. We were just getting like appetizers and drinks at this one restaurant. She's like, "Let's go to this other one that's like a block away." Now, on the way from this restaurant to the other restaurant, she leans into me and she touches me. Like she kind of like nuzzles up to me, which usually translates that they want to, what's like the nice way of that she's down to fuck. So I kind of knew that, and I was like pretty happy about that. That's definitely what I was planning on doing with the night. And so We walk to this other restaurant. We get there, and she looks at me, and she's just like, she's drunk. I'm drunk. And she's like, you have the prettiest eyes. She says that to me, and I'm like, and I just lean in to kiss her, and she goes, whoa, I don't even know you. And like, look, I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but I've never read signs from a woman and gotten rejected like that. Like, if usually I can like figure out if they're down, and I like if I really I'm scared of rejection, so I'm not going to go for it if I don't think that it's actually, if I think I might get rejected. And my phone's on low, I think. If it dies, I'm sorry, we'll continue it on a different video. But so she's like, I don't even know you that well. And I'm just like, okay, wow. Awkward silence for like 5 minutes. And then she goes, and she's a very intelligent, amazing, great mom to my kid. She's a great partner to me. But when she's drunk, she's fucking not the smartest person. She talks like a valley girl. When she's sober, totally amazing person. But there's two sides, just like anybody. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. So she goes, this is kind of embarrassing, but do you want to go back to my salon and bang? And I'm like, we're like, check please. So, yeah, she just straight said that after she rejected me. So weird, right? So, like, I've never, that's a weird thing when like a girl just straight says that. And so we walked back to her salon. We go in there and we strip. And now there's like glass, like at the salon, there's like these big glass windows. Lights are off, and she just takes off all of her clothes. I take off all my clothes, start fucking, doing all sorts of weird stuff. And I remember we went in her boss's swivel chair. It was like one of those chairs. I hate her boss too. I hate this dude so much. Such a piece of shit. But so we're in his swivel chair because this is a salon. He's like a famous hairstylist, which speaks volumes about a man, right? And so we're sitting in his swivel chair, and I just start hitting it. And she's just like riding me, and that's it. That's like, that was our first night. And so I fucked her in the swivel chair, bouncing up and down. Literally, there's people walking on the sidewalk, like they can like see us. They're like, hey. And I just fuck her. And so I leave the salon for a second to go smoke a cigarette after we're done. Call my friend Jeff. I'm like, man, I just had sex with this girl, and can I bring her over to your house? Because she was living with her parents because she just had moved back from Michigan, so she didn't have her own place yet. She had just moved back and just gotten this job. So I asked Jeff if I could take her to his place, and he's like, yeah. So we end up going to his place, and when I get there, back then, me and him were shooting Suboxone. We don't do that now, but we were doing that at the time. And he's like, hey, you want to go upstairs and do an issue? I was like, sure. And at the time, he's living with a gay psychic named George. And George is like this gay psychic from New York. Just so I can't stand this guy, right? He'd always like, after I caught the pimping case, he's like, Ryan, I just know that you're going to beat the case. My intuition tells me it's a linear year for you. You're in, and I'm just like, dude, I'm not going to beat the fucking case. I'm on federal probation, dude. I just got busted for pimping and panner. I'm going to prison for years, bro. He's like, no, just, the astrology lines up correctly. It's like that kind of dude. Gay psychic. Just, I have nothing against gay people, man. I don't want people to think that, but, yeah. So anyway, gay psychic. So I go upstairs, I shoot Suboxone, and I come down the stairs, and she's been talking with the gay psychic this whole time, and George is like, I like her. You guys are going to have a baby together, which he was right about. We have a baby together now. But I went outside to smoke a cigarette, and I guess what he had told me is that, see, the whole time that we're together, I'm hitting this bottle of Jack Daniels that's in my backpack. And what I didn't know is she had a fifth of vodka in her purse, and she was hitting it like simultaneously. So like on the phone, we both told each other that we weren't drinking, and then we get together and we both have bottles in our respective bags. All bad. We're both bottom of the barrel alcoholics at the time. And So she ends up sleeping over, and I remember I told her to pick out a movie, and I had like this huge box of DVDs, and she picked out Bully, which Nick Stahl is the star of. I didn't even know Nick at the time, and Nick hadn't been cast to be in my movie or anything, so I didn't even know him. But it's just kind of a weird coincidence that out of all movies, she picked Bully, which is like one of my all-time favorite movies. I love Nick in that. If you guys haven't seen that, Bully's the shit. It's by Larry Clark, the same guy that directed Kids, and yeah. So anyway, um, so I remember we were super wasted that night, but we woke up in the morning, and I remember how angelic she looked. She looked just so beautiful the next morning. Like, I didn't really like her like that, and I thought it was kind of like a one night stand. But when I saw her in the morning, she looked so beautiful. Sometimes I wake up and I fucked a beast the night before, and they look like they're like second string linebacker for the Raiders or something, and they want to hike the football. And that's what they look like. And they're like, yeah, let's do it again. And you're like, oh my God, I'm Ubering the fuck out of here. But in this situation, I was like, I didn't regret anything. I was really happy because she's a dime. Beautiful. Beautiful woman. So we took her to her work. We dropped her off. And was I forced into sex stuff in prison? RedTube. You can't force the willing, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. No, sexual stuff. I've been talking about that. That doesn't happen. That's a common myth, right? So Karina and I start dating, and what happens is my alcoholism starts getting bad. Her alcoholism starts getting bad. When you have two alcoholics and they get together, talk about this in Wasting Talent. Two dead batteries don't start a car. Absolutely true in this situation, and typical of two alcoholics or drug addicts. We were viciously codependent. So we're inseparable. I don't have a job. Well, I did have a job at the time. I was moving furniture. And my book sales at this point, 2017, were just like I got the most I'd ever made off the book was maybe like a few grand a month, and I was getting maybe like 400 or 500 a month at this point. It wasn't enough to live off of it all. There was a point where I could live off my royalties, but not at that point. And so we had and she lived with her parents. I lived with my parents, even though she's a year older than me. I was 32 at the time. She was 33. So, I would have to sneak her into my parents' house, like, all the time. And my parents started getting hip to it, and they'd always find her naked in my bed and, like, chase us around. We'd, like, run away from my room as my parents are chasing her, and we'd both be like butt naked. We wouldn't even get like a sheet or anything. We'd like run down the hall and try to like escape, and they'd be screaming at us. And they started getting really mad, and sometimes I'd leave the window open so she could crawl in. She was such a rider and so loyal to me that like sometimes she would sleep in my closet. Like, she'd be in my bed, cuddle with me, we'd have sex, and then before she was going to pass out, she'd just go in the closet and sleep so that my parents would find her, because they started doing straight like inspections in the morning to make sure that she wasn't there. I got caught at her house a couple times, and anyway, okay. What are you guys talking about? What's going on, man? So our alcoholism starts getting progressively worse. Now, around this time, I get a call from Will De Los Santos, who wrote Spun. And we'd been in negotiations with a movie deal for a long time. He wrote Spun. That movie came out in 2002. Have you guys seen Spun? Who's seen Spun? Spun. Who's seen it? Okay. Yes. Okay, there you go. So, I like Spun, and I'd reached out to Will, and I'm like, hey, I wrote this book, and it's really scummy, just like you and me, and we're all scummy. I wrote a scummy book. Do you want to turn it into a movie? And it had taken a while, and he'd gotten some other producers involved. He got Chris Hanley, who produced American Psycho. He got Wendy Benj. She produced some of the Saw movies, Oliver Stone's W. He got some big producers involved. He got Nick Stahl. He kind of assembled it, and I sold the rights to him right around the time that I got the pimping charge. So I had that going on. So at least I had something going for me. So, and I stopped working I was working at like I was moving furniture or something. And as soon as I got the pimping case, my boss was like, dude, I can't employ pimps. We don't do that. You know, what if someone finds out that you're pimping bitches? And I'm like, would anyone find out? But yes, it was in the newspaper. And I was in the newspaper because I was a published author. So, published author pimps bitches. It doesn't say that, but it was like something to that effect, right? Um, and so Karina's alcoholism gets worse and worse. She is starting. She's probably drinking about a fifth a day when she met me. By the time that, like maybe a month into our relationship, um, she was drinking 2/5 like me. We're both drinking 2/5 a day, and she'd like go into work like stumbling, and I mean she was the worst drunk. I remember this one time that we were drinking. We were like, we went into Trader Joe's and we like jacked a fifth, or no, a handle of wild turkey. When wild turkey's gnarly, if you split a handle with somebody, I don't care who you are, that's a rough ride, right? So we split this bottle of wild turkey that we jacked from Trader Joe's, and like I remember Karina, we were fighting, we were arguing, and she's walking and she's stumbling, and she falls on her face on the curb, just like in the middle of the day, and just busts her lip open. So she's blood's like pouring out of her mouth, and she's like, "Look at what you did to me! Look at what you did to me!" And I'm like, dude, stop saying that. And there's like some like essays walking by, and they're like mad dogging me, and I'm just start running full speed away from these people because I'm like, oh my god, this looks so bad. She's like leaking blood because she's all belligerent and fell. What did you do to me? And she's like, fuck you! And these essays are like, oh my god, we're gonna kill this little gabacho, huero. So, but it, you know, it's constant, just drunken drama like that. And I just got the movie deal, and then she gets fired. She gets fired from her job because she's like stumbling into work. I'd like meet her at her lunch break, and we'd be like hitting a flask and like eating benzos and you know doing coke all the time. It's just all bad. You know, I'm beating my Fed probation test. I like mastered that at one point, just for entertainment purposes. I'm going to do a video called how to beat any drug test. I think that that would be a good video. Like honestly, I've got that down to a science throughout the years, but I really want to do like a nice video where I explain like how the metabolites show up and how you can beat it just with like home supplies. I think that that would be good. So you can beat any test. Well, any urine analysis test. Yeah, I'm going to do it soon, but I want to get it professionally edited, and I'm going to like, you know, the most ghetto, you're getting tested in 2 hours, and if you get it dirty, you're going to prison for 10 years, but you only have home fucking chemicals, and I know how to do that too. So I'm going to, I can beat a lab test, yeah. I swear to God I can. I've never been there. So, where are we at in the story? So she gets fired. I don't have a car. My parents kicked me out of the house because they've caught me sneaking her in so many times. So I'm like legitimately homeless at this point. And Karina lives with their parents, but they won't let me stay there. They don't like me. You know, I just got out of prison, and like I have a horrible reputation where in Santa Barbara I'm just like a scumbag there. So I go to, what we started doing is we started, like, we clean up well. Even though we were like belligerent drunks, like if I like comb my hair and put on like nice like preppy clothes, I didn't have these tattoos here, and I could cover all my stuff up, right? And she's beautiful, and anytime you're with the hot girl, it just makes crimes and scams so much easier, you know? And what we would do is we would look for open houses in the newspaper, and we'd go meet a realtor, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm in IT, and I'm interested in buying a house. It'd be my first house. We've rented, but we've never bought, blah, blah, blah. I'd play a part, pretend like I was interested in buying a house. And we'd only choose houses that had stage furniture. So if we got there and there was stage furniture and there was nobody living there, that's when we decided that we wanted to we would stay there. And so what we would do is we'd go like to the open house, get the little walkthrough, and I'd be like, "Hey, can I use the restroom?" "Oh, certainly. It's down the hall to the left." "All right, thanks, sir." And I'd go to the bathroom and I'd unlatch the windows, and then we would come back later and we would stay in this house. We would just straight up stay in this house, right? And we would squat in these abandoned like mansions in Santa Barbara that had stage furniture. We'd watch stuff on YouTube on my iPhone or on our iPhones, and when we could afford it, we like when my little royalty checks came in, we'd party, and I was running all sorts of little scams and stuff to get money. I was selling weed at the time, just trying to like nickel and diming weed, just trying to like support us. And I mean, we pretty much were just going around squatting in houses and getting drunk all day. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. So, when we'd be squatting at these houses, I'd be showing Karina stuff on YouTube. We'd watch like Dave Chappelle. We watched Dave Chappelle a lot. We watched a lot of skate videos. I literally would watch skate videos for hours and hours and hours on my YouTube. Every girlfriend I've ever had gets so annoyed at the amount of fucking skateboarding that I watch. And I'm like, dude, look at this. And I'd like show her like a new part that dropped. And she, you know, girls don't care about that kind of shit. At least most of the girls I've dated don't. Some do, but the majority don't. So she never wanted to watch skate videos with me or whatever. But I showed her Antoine Dixon. For those of you that don't know who he is, he's an African-American skateboarder. He's from Carson, California. His brother's doing a life sentence. Antoine's kind of like a gangster skater. He's like gets in fist fights all the time. He's got assault on a police officer. He got in a fist fight on a public airplane, and like the video went viral. He's in Baker 3, absolutely. And so I showed Karina an Epically Later about Antoine Dixon. And he's like beating people up and like face is covered with tattoos, and she's like, now this guy's interesting. I agree, great style. And I'm on Instagram and I'm wasted drunk, and apparently I commented on one of his pictures and I'm like, dude, I have an opportunity for you. That's all I said. And I gave him my phone number like in a DM or something. And so that night, I think we took Xanax or we took some like Ativan or something. I blacked out. I don't even remember reaching out to him. So he calls me the next day and he's like, hey, he's like, yo, it's Twong. I'm like, hey, who? He's like, it's Twong, Antoine Dixon. I'm like, oh, shit, what's up, man? I had no idea why I was calling. And he's like, you said that you had an opportunity for me. What's the deal? And I'm like, the deal is I'm a writer. I'm a best-selling writer. I just got my... how many girls have I knowingly gave herpes to? I don't know. Double digits, probably. So I'm telling him that I'm a best-selling writer and that I'm just got a film deal. And that I used to work for Spike TV. We've talked about that. So I still had some plugs for Spike. And I said, look, the reason that I said I had an opportunity is because I showed my girl like an Epically Later about you, and I showed her like a mini documentary, and she thinks you're fascinating. If my girlfriend, this Hispanic 33-year-old woman, is interested in you and she doesn't like skateboarding, then I think that you have some commercial viability. I'd love to make a pilot show with you, and I have connections with Spike. I know some people in the film industry. Maybe I can make some shit happen for you. He's like, I'm down. I'm like, cool. So, like, he's like, what do you have in mind? I'm like, I don't know. I'll come up with some sort of concept. So I start thinking about what I want to do with him. And he ends up calling me like a couple days later, and he's like, and I'm still squatting in houses. Now, at the time, thank you very much, Palabra. Thank you, Buckshot Jones. Appreciate the donation that have stopped for some reason, but I appreciate that. So, you know, Antoine had called me and he said, listen, I have... herpes aren't bad if you just never tell anyone. So yeah, whatever. Everyone, a lot of people have herpes. I do. So what? So what? So Antoine ends up calling me back, and he's like, look, there's this guy named Zach Warren, and he's been like doing documentary stuff about me, short form documentary stuff for years. I think it would be cool if you guys like joined forces. That would be really cool. I'm like, yeah, definitely. So he gives me this guy's number, and I talk to him, and this is like a super cool guy. This guy Zach Warren, and my phone's probably gonna die. If it does, thank you guys. Let me see. Let's see. I don't know. What does it say? Because I'm on live. Next time I'm gonna do it from a computer, so we won't have that issue, and we'll get better. But so I really hit it off with this guy Zach. He's like my age, very sharp, super sharp, and I tell him my story. I'm like, look, I wrote my first novel in prison after being indicted by the feds for my participatory role in an international heroin cartel. I just got out of prison, and now I'm going back because I got caught pimping and pandering, but I just got a film deal with the people that produced American Psycho and the guy that wrote Spun. And he's just like, what? That's fucking crazy, dude. And he was like all about me, thought I was a visionary. So he ends up meeting up with me. Now, at the time, my hustle game is not on point at all. I am going around, I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's something called California Lotto Scratch Your Second Chance. So each lotto ticket has this little barcode, like, on the back of it. And you have this little phone, like, you have an app on your phone and you can scan the barcode. For tax purposes, California Lotto puts all the money that doesn't get claimed on lotto tickets into the second chance account. So you can scan this little barcode and you can be entered into this pool drawing, and if you win, you can win like millions of dollars in theory. So what I would do, literally, because I had no job and I was such a drunk loser, I would go around to like every liquor store that I could find and just like go dumpster diving, find as many scratchers as possible, and I would just like scan them into my phone, thinking that it's a mathematical certainty that I would win the second chance fucking lotto thing. Like, I'd tell my girlfriend this all the time. I'm like, babe, like, it doesn't matter that we don't have money now. Within 2 months, we're going to be millionaires because I'm scanning 1,000 of these things a day, like, literally. And I didn't even give a fuck. I'd be going to, like, 7-Eleven with, like, a bunch of people watching, and I'd just start diving in the trash can, like, looking for lotto scratcher tickets. And I didn't give a fuck, you know? I wanted to win the money. I never won $1 off my little lotto plan, but I tried really hard, and it just never worked out. So Zach pays for me to go down to LA to film this pilot episode with Twan. I meet him, we meet at the Santa Monica courthouse. I have pictures of it on Instagram, I think, and Antoine was really cool. And I do an interview with him, and I start asking him questions. His mom had just passed away, and he was definitely pained. He was just getting sober at the time. And so I came up with an idea for a show. I conceptualized the pilot. I said, why don't we have a show called Resurrection? And we find people that already have a built-in target following. Like Antoine was already a popular and famous pro skater, and we can do it with him, but we can also do it with like MMA fighters, hip-hop artists, anybody that has a pre-existing following that like got derailed because of mental health or drug addiction, whatever the case, and we'll make a show called Resurrection. It'll be a reality show where we show how they fell, and then they try to pick the pieces back up and resurrect their career. It was going to be called Resurrection, and the first season was going to be called Antoine Resurrection. It was going to be about Antoine Dixon resurrecting his career, and I thought it was going to be a really, really good show. I made a pilot. I can post the pilot. Do you guys want me to post the pilot tomorrow? I will. I have the pilot still. We're using some of the footage for the documentary. So